Please welcome to the stage AWS Leader of Global Intergovernmental Organizations, Charlie Anderson, and AWS General Manager for Europe Public Sector, Cameron Brooks.
Good morning. Welcome to the AWS Public Sector Symposium Brussels. My name's Cameron.
And I'm Charlie.
We're so glad you could join us this year for our 4th annual Cloud and Technology event here in Brussels.
This event is an opportunity for us to come together, share knowledge, and push the boundaries of what's possible with the cloud.
We hope you leave today with inspiration and ideas on how your organization can innovate as you work toward your digital transformation goals.
And Cam, we have an action-packed day planned for all of you, filled with exciting talks, insightful discussions, as well as learning and networking opportunities. So we wanted to take a moment to thank each of you for making the time to join us today.
We know your time is valuable, and we truly appreciate you choosing to spend the day with us. They're going to be all day with us.
That's all.
We have no doubt that you're going to enjoy what we have in store, and we can't wait to see the ideas, the connections and inspiration that will come out of this event.
But before we get started, we want to pause and acknowledge the disaster recovery efforts taking place in Turkey and Syria after the devastating earthquake last month.
Amazon continues to activate disaster relief services to help responding organizations. Amazon sent cargo planes full of supplies: tents, sleeping bags, blankets, heaters, and more. In fact, totaling more than 45,000 kilograms of supplies.
And we're also working with local relief organizations to make sure additional supplies are getting into the hands of those who need it the most. And we helped AKUT Search and Rescue Association scale their app within days of the earthquake. And this is helping local residents let their loved ones know that they're safe. And that app now has over 1 million downloads.
Amazing. And Charlie, AWS is also supporting a geospatial project that uses artificial intelligence to create a map showing requests for help posted on social media. The recovery efforts may be long, but our hearts are with the people of Turkey and Syria.
So, moving on to today's event, we have a lineup of 25 breakout sessions that cover the whole spectrum of cloud computing and related technologies, with use cases specific to the public sector.
That's right. The sessions are designed to cater to all levels of expertise, from beginners to advanced users, and all organization sizes, from startups, state and local governments, intergovernmental organizations, central government, as well as state-owned enterprises. We have sessions on how to meet your digital sovereignty requirements, enhance security, improve sustainability, manage your cloud spend, and drive innovation within your organization.
And for those who are more technically inclined, we also have a variety of sessions that cover topics including serverless computing, confidential and cryptographic computing, DevSecOps, machine learning, and analytics.
There's so much. We feel we have something for everyone, whether you're new to AWS and want to learn the basics, or you're an experienced user looking to take your skills to the next level.
But today wouldn't be possible if it were not for our sponsors. So we would like to thank our platinum sponsors, which you can see here on the slide. They are critical to helping us to produce today's event.
Exactly. But we also have to give special thanks to our silver sponsors. We're incredibly thankful for their support.
Let's give them all a round of applause for helping us make this event a reality.
Please take time today to visit our sponsors in the expo hall and get an idea of who they are and the lessons they've learned and how they can help you in your cloud journey.
I'm really excited. We've got some great interactive pods and demos at the expo, like Ask an Expert, where you can ask our solution architects your toughest cloud and IT questions.
Yeah. And the Innovation Center, where you can get hands-on learning through live demos. The Smart Data Corner, where you can learn how to leverage your data.
And my favorite, the Serverless Presso, where you can learn about serverless on AWS while getting a much-needed caffeine fix. And there are breaks throughout the day, so stop by whenever you get the chance.
Here in Europe, we're continuing to serve more and more organizations like yours, from governments to nonprofits to educational technology companies, from here on Earth to the literal clouds.
And AWS has thousands of active customers here in EMEA in the public sector. And you'll hear about and directly from a few of them today. But as we gather here in Brussels, I can't help but reflect on the incredible journey that we've been on as customers and partners together.
Yeah, Charlie, it's been an honor to watch this community grow and evolve. We've been constantly amazed by the innovative ways public sector organizations throughout Europe and the Middle East have leveraged the power of AWS to transform.
It's incredible that digitizing citizen services or being resilient and providing continuity in times of social and economic turmoil or making your operations more sustainable. You're making life better for the communities where we work and live.
That growth is reflective of so many of the cloud-first policies here in Europe, and AWS is helping support digital adoption and transformation. In fact, we recently commissioned a report that estimates 2.8 trillion euros of economic value could be unlocked by 2030 if digital adoption and progress is accelerated.
But Cam, that same report, that's equivalent to nearly 21% of the EU's current economy.
Yeah, amazing. And just as interesting, that moving 10% of government IT systems to the cloud could save European taxpayers more than 900 million euros per year.
Wow. So as a major part of our support and investment is even more infrastructure to meet your needs. Just last year, we opened our AWS Europe region, Zurich, and our AWS Europe region, Spain, our 28th and 29th regions.
An AWS region allows you to deploy your most demanding workloads and replicate your applications and data across distinct groups of data centers called availability zones. These availability zones are fully isolated partitions of our infrastructure that contain a cluster of data centers.
And our availability zones are typically separated by multiple kilometers to mitigate the impact of disaster that could affect a data center. So these new regions empower you with the flexibility to run your applications while maintaining local data residency and providing lower latency.
Yeah, also, we're continuing to launch local zones here in Europe. So a local zone brings AWS compute, storage, and databases along with other services even closer to you for applications that require that single-digit millisecond latency.
You know, already in Europe, we've got local zones in Copenhagen, Hamburg, Helsinki, and Warsaw. And we've announced our plans to launch local zones in Amsterdam, Athens, Berlin, Brussels, Lisbon, Munich, Oslo, Prague, and Vienna.
Yeah, we're really excited about the opportunities this will provide for you moving forward. There is tremendous opportunity also in training your workforce with the skills for the future, using cloud and related technologies. Your employees' ability to build, navigate, and innovate in the cloud determines the success of your digital transformation. It's the people that make it happen.
It really, really is. And so AWS has trained over 1.8 million individuals across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa with cloud skills since 2017. And we're committed to training 29 million people by 2025.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, Charlie. To do this, we've created training programs and industry-recognized credentials to help drive faster results, strengthen your workforce, and future-proof your organization. For example, AWS Skill Builder has more than 600 free online courses in up to 20 languages, in addition to individual and team subscriptions with interactive learning like hands-on labs, role-based games, and AWS certification exam preparation.
It's great. I've used it. I love it. We also have those AWS education programs, including AWS Academy, one of my favorites, AWS Restart, AWS Educate, that are preparing individuals for cloud roles around the world. Love technology. It's amazing. Yay!
There we are. Okay. Thank you. We also collaborate with local educational institutions to train at scale and drive transformation. In Spain, 3 regional governments, Junta de Andalucía, Generalitat Valenciana, and Gobierno de Aragón, included cloud computing skills in vocational training curriculum.
It's amazing. So these agreements target 150 vocational training centres with a plan to train 3,000 educators in delivering a 2-year diploma in cloud technologies. And as we said, this includes that hands-on learning and career readiness delivered by AWS partners. The training will prepare 20,000 students per year for cloud jobs with AWS partners and local cloud employers.
Yeah, Charlie, that's amazing. And through this work, regional governments are able to help those close cloud skills gaps to support digital transformation priorities.
So finally, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our remarkable AWS customers and partners who are supporting our continued initiatives to provide free AWS training and career support programs, including the thousands of Ukrainians displaced by the ongoing war.
Yeah, in fact, late last year, AWS launched the IT Skills for You program as part of the global launch of 3 new AWS free training programs to train 10,000 Ukrainians and help them find jobs, as many of them were displaced due to the war. IT Skills for You is available to any Ukrainian learner who would like to reskill for a new career in the cloud or upskill to a continued career in IT and/or the cloud.
You know, Cam, as of March 1st, 14,600 Ukrainians registered for IT Skills for You. So a massive thank you to the 43 AWS customers and AWS partners supporting this initiative.
Just amazing. So thank you for listening to our introduction. And now we're excited to hand over the stage to our keynote speaker, who will be joined on stage by 2 incredible customer speakers.
Looking forward to it. Thank you all.
Please welcome to the stage AWS Vice President, Worldwide Public Sector EMEA, Isabella Groegor-Chechowicz.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to our AWS Public Sector Symposium. I am very excited to be able to join you here today to share, and we started already with my colleagues to share the customer stories that are so inspirational, as well as share the latest and greatest from our portfolio, our offering, our initiatives and programs that we have available for you. So we are innovating on your behalf because our mission in public sector is to help you use technology to help build better societies. And better societies where citizens can be healthy, happy, safe, and successful. And I think we can all agree that these days, happy and healthy is really, really very in focus. Now, public sector organizations, to get there, are undergoing a huge and massive digital transformation. And we see that every day, right? I think we can all agree on that, and that is paving the way also for disruptive innovation. You are reimagining what's possible, what to do next, what approach to take, what technology to use to serve your citizens and communities better. So we are putting all of that thinking and innovation into it, because we also see that you are looking at innovating with data, for example, and we're going to be talking about data in a moment. And you are also using tools in the cloud, AI, ML, that are speeding up, that are accelerating your transformation. Now, speaking of communities, you heard from my colleagues already what we are doing to have a positive social impact in our communities. And I think this is a very important aspect. I would like to expand on the sustainability part of it. We are working always, as you know, that's our aim, to work backwards from the customers. And we heard from you, our customers, that sustainability is a very, very important topic for you. You want to become more carbon neutral. You want to have also a positive impact in the communities. So you are moving to the cloud to improve your carbon footprint, but also to make a positive feedback to the communities, and that can go from energy conservation, waste reductions, to many, many more use cases. And looking at the customer side first, because there's also the side of what are we doing to improve our sustainability footprint. Looking at the customer side first, moving the IT workloads into the cloud is reducing the waste, it is reducing the energy consumption, and is reducing the related carbon emissions by about 80%. So our data centers, when you move your workloads into cloud, we are 5 times more efficient than an average data center in Europe. And we are continuing to push for great transparency to be able to give you more data points about how you are doing with the carbon emissions and how you can reduce it. And to increase that level of transparency, some of you that had joined last year may know that we have last year launched our AWS customer carbon footprint tool. This tool makes it easier for organizations of each and every size to analyze, to monitor, analyze, and also reduce the carbon footprint. So you can set your goals, your emission goals, your reduction goals more accurately. We are continuing to support you on this decarbonization effort. That is one side. We are supporting you also with the tools to be able to make a positive impact in the communities. But you also want to know what we are doing for more sustainability, to improve our sustainability of our own operations. And here I'm super happy to share that we are on track to be fully renewable energy powered by 2025. This is 5 years ahead of our initial goal, which was a commitment to 2030. We are not only the largest buyer of renewable energy in Europe, but we are also the largest buyer in the world. So we want to secure these energy resources and also invest ourselves. And we have announced in 2022 new renewable projects in Finland, France, Germany, Poland, and Spain, which is now totaling us to 128 renewable energy projects in Europe. And we are also adding into our offshore wind energy, and we have added 2 additional projects in Europe last year, which is giving us a total capacity of 280 megawatts. So another way of giving back to societies is a positive impact on communities through water stewardship. We have announced last year that we will become water positive by 2030, which means that AWS will be giving more water back to communities that we are using in the communities in our operations. To do this, we of course look at improving water efficiency. This is a big area for us to innovate on, so there's also a lot of innovative thinking across the entire organization that goes into it. We use sustainable water sources, we return water for reuse to the communities, and we support water replenishment projects. Like, for example, in UK, where we are working together with the Rivers Trust and the Action for the River Kennet to create 2 wetlands on the tributary of the River Thames. There will be actually AWS volunteers this week in their waders planting native aquatic plants at 2 wetlands, which will help improve flood resilience as well as enhance the water quality of the river. The wetlands will recharge over 587 million liters of water every year. Now you see that we are putting a lot of innovative thinking into it, into sustainability, social impact. And we also do it because we live up to our leadership principle. The broad success and scale bring broad responsibility. And quoting what's behind that is our local communities, planet, and future generations needs us to be better every day. We must begin each day with a determination to make better, do better, and be better for our customers, our employees, our partners, and the world at large. Now, that's our part where we are really looking into giving back to communities, empowering communities, but also fueling the innovation for our organization, and also work together with you to make sure that we can support you on your journeys. But let's now talk about what we need to improve sustainability, to reduce carbon footprint, to return water to the communities. And we can do all of that only if we know how we are performing. And we know that when we are using data. And you know that most of you, we are storing terabytes, if not petabytes of data. And IDC predicted for 2022 alone over 100 zettabytes of data being created and replicated. So that is a massive source as well. And we will be hearing about using it also from our customers. Now, we built our business on data with Amazon S3, the first global scale object storage in the cloud. But S3 for us was only the beginning. And since that initial launch of S3, we have used our expertise to solve some of the most complex data problems in the world with our innovation in data analytics, AI, ML, that goes from Amazon SageMaker to DynamoDB. We continue to launch new features and services that make it simpler to create, store, and act on data. You know, our earlier leaders quite often repeated the phrase, data beats intuition. With data services that we provide to you, we want you to have all the tools at hand to continue acting on your data, maybe sometimes also building some of your own intuition into it. Now, for many, data is the genesis for the modern invention and innovation. And we know that data-driven organizations are growing much faster, they are growing quicker, but there are challenges, we probably all know it, to become such a data-driven organization that goes from technology to culture, from the volume of data to the sources where the data reside. So organizations need to build a strong data strategy that is countering these challenges so they can build and create ideas that have an impact on the citizens and the communities. We have discovered at least 3 core elements of a strong data strategy. One is, and first, you need to have a comprehensive set of services that serves your needs now and in future. And that also includes our managed services that automate building and managing your infrastructure so you can instead focus on innovating and experimenting. Secondly, you of course need solutions that are going to integrate your data from various sources no matter where they live. And third, you need the right governance strategy so your teams can move quicker with their data. One way to differentiate and innovate, and that means by using minimal resources, is to act on your data with our comprehensive set of services, including analytics, business intelligence, AI, ML, all the tools that are available. Now, one organization that uses business intelligence tools, and you saw that already in the video in the opening, that is using business intelligence tools on their data to improve citizen services is the European Parliament. In less than 1 week, think about that, they have used before that on the same task more than a year, testing different methods. But in the less than 1 week, they developed an intuitive web interface. So this interface, citizens and researchers can digitally access and retrieve 850,000 of archived documents, and the archive is still growing. And our infrastructure, our tools are supporting this growth and the scalability. It uses AI/ML as well as our business intelligence tool, Amazon QuickSight. The archive team is also more productive because with the same team, they can respond to 20 times more of requests and leave most of the time to the most complex one that they receive. Now let's talk a bit more about machine learning and what that is also doing in the education side. An EdTech that is also working with us, this is Aleph Education from UAE, is using AI/ML in their platform, which provides a suite of digital learning services and products to K-12 schools. It is helping the teachers to provide tailored education and react to the process and progress of their students, and also is supporting different learning methods. They are orchestrating its microservice architecture using Amazon EKS, and they are delivering the content using Amazon CloudFront. Using our technologies helped Aleph save a lot of application operational cost, increase speed of content delivery to students, and gives them the ability to tailor the content accordingly so students really can get best use out of it and also deliver best results. The platform is now used by 850,000 students and is expanding also to other regions. It can also use our regions in other parts of the world, is now also available in US and in Indonesia. And one other example that is quite recent you may find is also supporting the fact that using AI/ML is a key differentiator for your organizations, and it can very much accelerate the digital transformation. I'm talking about Technology Innovation Institute, TII, which is an applied research pillar of the Abu Dhabi's Advanced Technology Research Council. They launched Falcon LLM. Falcon LLM is with 40 billion parameters. So we have a large language model, 40 billion parameters, trained on 1 trillion tokens. This is cutting edge, and the LLM boosts top-notch performance while still remaining cost effective. Falcon matches the performance of other high-performing LLMs and is trained on Amazon SageMaker. So again, this is really cutting-edge innovation. Now, we want to help our customers to scale, to grow, to go to other regions, and also accelerate their innovation. And the one best thing that we can do to help our customers there to innovate is to bring expertise together in a very focused way. That's why we have created many of our accelerator programs. And today, I'm really excited to announce that the AWS Defense Accelerator is now open to Europe-based organizations. The accelerator is a 4-week program. It's a technical, business, and mentorship program that we are running in collaboration with our partner Plexel. Now, the application is opening today. So if you're working with the industry and you are interested, please check out on that one. And also check out on other accelerators that we have, such in healthcare, sustainability, sustainable cities, and aerospace. Speaking of space, not aerospace. Let's hear from a customer about how they are using AI to process petabytes of space data where there haven't been really application to tackle real-world problems that are also reducing the impact, carbon impact, and are also having a positive impact on sustainability. They are looking at many aspects, and innovating with data on that amount is getting you very fast cross-industry and opens many, many opportunities to go across and solve multiple problems. So please welcome to the stage Daniel Seidel, co-founder and CEO of LiveEO.
Thanks, Isabella. Data beats intuition. I think that's a very good statement. I'm Daniel. I'm the founder of LiveEO, and I'm a space engineer. As a space engineer, you like to look to the stars, right? We like to look at Mars. We basically like to fly there. We like to fly to the moon. But what we also really like to do is basically looking back on Earth. With all the satellites which launched in the past decades, we can really measure the pulse of Earth. We can see so many aspects which are happening here on our planet. And this was, for me, the motivation to start an Earth observation company, basically 5 years ago. What we already do today is we monitor more than 500,000 kilometers of critical infrastructure. So I'm talking about railways, power lines, and pipelines. And a nice fun fact, that's more than the distance to the moon. So I want to talk to you because we have so many stakeholders from the public sector here, so many decision makers, how you can basically use data from satellites to improve our daily lives. And one very practical example is basically railways. I assume that a lot of you already have experienced train cancellations or train delays. And very often, these are caused because trees fall down on the railways. So the German railway operator, Deutsche Bahn, is operating 34,000 kilometers of railways. And, you know, these trees always fall down in the storm. We have more storm events. So I asked myself 4 years ago, what are they doing to mitigate this problem? And basically, they're doing a lot. They have 1,000 people out there on a daily basis walking next to the railway, inspecting and doing the vegetation treatment. But still all these damages happening. And then I thought, do they actually have a digital record so that they can steer the workforce better? They didn't. So we started to collaborate with Deutsche Bahn, and they asked us a very, very simple question. How many railways are next to trees? I mean, you would think that's a simple question, has a simple answer. But think twice about it. How do you get data for 34,000 kilometers in a reliable way? So the first idea was, okay, let's take tablets and send the 1,000 people there. They made assessments. They even started the process, and they realized it will take us 5 years. That's not good, because the people who are doing the assessment, they also have to treat the vegetation. That's the real work they have to do, right? So they have to cut back, they have to plant new trees, and they have to take care of sick trees. So basically, we gave them an answer from space. And how that works, one of our software engineers, Rebecca Allen, will explain you in a short 30 seconds video.
At LiveEO, we take raw satellite data and turn it into something useful. The AWS cloud gives us this ability to quite quickly be able to store large amounts of data as we need. And then we apply machine learning models to that data. What we're really showing here is that it's possible to use space and technology to protect what we already have and make things better here on the ground.
So that was just one practical example. But let's zoom out a bit. What you see here on this graph is actually the sea surface temperature in orange and the power dissipation index in yellow. The power dissipation index is showing us how many tropical cyclones are happening. And the data is not lying, right? So there's climate change, and we will have more severe weather events. When I'm talking about severe weather events, it's not just a hurricane, it's droughts, it's floods. And we basically have to change the way how we take care of our modern life. We need to protect all the outdoor assets, right? When I'm talking about outdoor assets, I'm talking about railways. That case we already got. I'm talking about power lines, I'm talking about pipelines. That's the linear infrastructure. But I'm also talking about streets. I'm talking about the buildings. And I'm also talking about the natural assets we're having, the forests, the rivers, the lakes. So we need to take care. And I want to give you a few examples which really surprised me, where you can measure from space to improve processes. Insurance companies are typically very good in risk modeling. In the past months, we have worked together with insurance companies, and we learned that so they're basically insuring houses against subsidence. Insurance companies left the entire market of the UK and France in the past years, some insurance companies. Because of droughts, which happened in the UK and in France, there was not enough water in the soil, and the houses were subsiding. They were doing these insurances since decades, but one thing happened. They couldn't anymore use the data from the past to forecast the future. And this was something which was bringing me really to think about this. So we need to take all measures to understand problems, because only what we understand we can change. And basically for us, just to give you some numbers, right? Working with utilities now for multiple years, what we learned in the past years is if you adopt to a data-driven approach, utilizing the data from satellites, you can reduce outages by 14% already after around 3 years. Another interesting effect is you can reduce the operational expenses by 30% because you don't have to drive anymore somewhere where there's nothing to do, right? We can do these remote inspections to basically only focus on where we have the biggest problems. And this is very often, to come back to what I said at the beginning, space, we like to fly to moon. What happened when people were flying to moon, they looked back on Earth, and it was the so-called overview effect. So they had a complete different picture of the planet, and they were seeing things different. And we all can have like an overview effect light if we get the full picture from space. Another interesting side effect is that compared to other methods, like car patrols or helicopter-based inspections or even planes, which are running on kerosene, we can reduce the emissions by 99% with a satellite-based solution. So you see these 3 technology pillars which are enabling us to do this, what we couldn't do basically 5 to 10 years ago. The first one is space, right? That's where my eyes are starting to shine. In the past years, everyone knows Elon Musk, right? All these commercial rockets which started. But it actually was a bigger trend. So with the commercialization of the space industry, the second wave after the rockets were a lot of satellites. And these satellites measure in all different wavelengths. They measure on a sometimes even sub-daily basis with 30 centimeter accuracy. So it's just a very huge data set. And with more than 60 utilities as customers on 5 continents, for us, we have to process very large data sets, right? And now we could look with our human eye on all these beautiful space pictures, but that's not scalable, right? So we're using artificial intelligence to process petabytes of satellite data. So data, AI. And basically for us, it was from day one a decision to directly go into the cloud, into the AWS cloud, because we realized that this is the way to go. And I tell you one thing which we even see now after being 5 years in the business, the cloud is not expensive if you do it right. There are so many technologies which reduce the cloud costs. And for us, the alternative would be a supercomputer, right? A supercomputer in the basement, if you have to process these large data sets. And this is not scalable. This is not the way how we do it. So that's why we decided for the AWS cloud. And you now have 32 seconds to scan the QR code if you want to go to our website. And I'm really happy to talk to you here at the event about how you can utilize data from satellites to improve and to better understand what's happening in our cities, countries, or at the entire continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I have taken away 2 things out of it. You said insurance companies are using old methods on today's problems. I think that this is one of the key things that we need to remember and we need to work on. That's one part. And the second one, we only can work on things that we really understand. And this is where we need all the data. And this is where we need to gather the data, get data together, and have the impact delivered out of the combination and understanding that we derive from it. So let's continue on the data strategy and the second pillar. Again, that means that we need to integrate all of that data so you can easily access the data anywhere, and not only access the data, but act on it and get the understanding and derive the solutions out of it. And one of the best ways from our perspective to approach data integration is through a data lake, which is a centralized, curated, and secured repository for all of your data. Now, the good news here is you don't need to be a super expert to really get starting there and starting to experiment. We have great tools to help you build a data lake like AWS Lake Formation, which is a fully managed service which helps you to build, manage, and secure your data lake quickly. Now, for health customers, we have the Amazon Health Lake, and there we have recently launched 2 new features, 2 new services into it, which is the Health Lake Imaging and Health Lake Analytics. All of these tools that we are innovating on and thinking about and giving you to give you all the tools that you need, they are eliminating months of engineering effort and allowing, if you take the health lakes, health organization to focus on what they want to resolve. They want to resolve the challenges for patients. They don't want to just go and think about how they get the right infrastructure. And as Daniel said, is the alternative is sometimes really to put all the compute power, quoting you, in the basement. So you can scale that up and down, and that makes it very, very powerful. But, and we had that, my colleagues touched on that one already at the very beginning. No matter what industry you are in and what you are passionate to solve, we know you have another passion, which is data and having control over your data, which is very important for our customers. And giving customers this sovereignty has been a priority for AWS since the very beginning, where we have been the only major cloud provider giving customers the control of the location as well as the movements of the data. When we think now about the next stage, which is the end-to-end governance that manages data access across all of your services, that is the future state that we are working on and innovating for our customers. We recently announced Amazon Data Zone. And Data Zone is a data management service that helps multiple data teams across your organization to manage the data. That's one part, but taking that into the next step, we know you are not only passionate about data and having control over your data, you are also passionate about the digital sovereignty parts that you want to see addressed. And we want to give you this digital sovereignty without any compromise of the innovation power of our cloud. And that's why we recently introduced, you might have seen that already, the AWS Digital Sovereignty Pledge, with a commitment to continue to expand on our capabilities to allow customers around the world to meet their sovereignty requirements without compromising on the innovation of the AWS cloud. We want you to have the full set of services that we deliver. On the other hand, we want you to be able to respond to the sovereignty requirements that you are facing. Our approach to delivering on this pledge is to continue to make the AWS cloud sovereign by design. And this was our aim, this is our idea from the very beginning. We pledge to continue to invest in an ambitious roadmap of capabilities for data residency, granular access, restriction, encryption, and resilience. Now let me touch quickly on this 4. Control over the location of data. Customers always had and have the control over the location of their data at AWS, and you have seen the clouds, the regions that we have available in Europe. Today, you can deploy your data into any of our 8 existing regions. Verifiable control over the data access. We have designed and delivered a first of a kind, and we are really proud of that one, innovation to restrict access to customer data. The AWS Nitro system, which is the foundation of the AWS computing, uses specialized hardware and software to protect the data from outside access during the processes on Amazon EC2. Not even we can have operator access to it. So we are excluding ourselves out of any touch points that we could have potentially into the data. Now, next is the encryption, the ability to encrypt everything everywhere. All AWS services already support encryption, but we now commit to continue to innovate and to invest in additional controls for sovereignty and encryption features so that our customers can encrypt everything everywhere with encryption keys managed inside or outside of the AWS cloud. And that's why we also recently launched AWS KMS External Key Store. This innovation supports our customers who have a regulatory need to store and use their encryption keys outside of AWS. And finally, there is no possibility to achieve sovereignty without resiliency and survivability. So we commit to continue to enhance our range of sovereign and resilient options, allow customers to sustain operations through disruption and disconnection. That's why we have recently launched the government continuity of government IT on AWS. With continuity of government IT on AWS, governments can maintain control and integrity of their critical databases, backup applications, and then transfer services to seamlessly run in the cloud. When you want to understand and learn more in that space, I suggest you stop by our Smart Data Hub in the Expo to have a good discussion with our experts there and to understand what our innovation path is. But it is pretty disruptive. That's what I can already share. Now, at AWS, we provide you with a innovative infrastructure and services so you can operate more efficiently and let your teams focus on the innovation for your citizens. A study found when we think about application born in the cloud or cloud native that by migrating on-premise workloads to AWS, companies reduced time to market for new application features by 43%. And this is quite critical also to be able to deliver to citizens, to communities faster. One organization example that we have, and the organization has migrated to the cloud, is Daedalus. And Daedalus is a healthcare and diagnostic software provider based in Europe. Daedalus has migrated 55 of the most critical patient care systems with the critical patient data within 14 months with no downtime for patients or and customers. They used Amazon RDS SQL database, Amazon EC2 for compute, and Amazon S3 for storage. And the migration of their entire infrastructure has saved them 4 million euros of total cost of ownership per year. It has also increased the performance and reduce the downtime for clinical applications, allowing physicians and clinicians to focus on deliver what they want to deliver, which is patient care and not data center service. Another customer that is using AWS to provide a seamless citizen experience is VRT, the Flemish public broadcaster. They used AWS to provide current, reliable, real-time information to the public, uninterrupted, on election day. So VRT worked with AWS partner Cloudera to build a highly available environment that allows the organization to quickly spin up and down infrastructure they need. The system used Amazon CloudFront paired with Lambda Edge, which allowed VRT to automatically switch between buckets in different regions if needed. Again, it's also a great use of different technologies, pairing them together, bringing them together with the power of partners to drive and accelerate innovation. But they are still many organizations that choose or they need to manage their own infrastructure and data centers. But then they are not really able to leverage all the tools available in the cloud. Think about serverless and serverless containers. They allow you to run code, to manage data, to integrate applications, all without managing servers, and with a pay for what you use billing model. This accelerates the time to market, as already mentioned, and decreases the time needed to migrate the existing application to AWS, as well as it decreases the total cost of ownership. And we are always further innovating on infrastructure and tools to provide and to improve the performance and provide the best and latest services to you. An example here is SnapStart, which we built into AWS Lambda, one of our serverless services. SnapStart is a performance-optimized feature to significantly improve the cold start of Java-based functions. With SnapStart, your function typically runs up to 10 times faster, and enabling step start, good news, doesn't cost anything. Another organization that is using serverless is the Cancer Research UK, which is the world's largest independent cancer research charity. Cancer Research UK recently transformed their online donation platform, migrating from a large application running on a custom-built infrastructure to cloud native and serverless, and that saved them up to 94% of their cost. They are able to scale up and down in their donation season, and they are able to process up to 800 transactions a second, which is 48,000 transactions a minute. By improving their ability in the fundraising space, less focus on that part, they can reroute their funds into their research part and into the research and the tools to help cure this pervasive disease. Now let's talk a little bit more on the part that they are in, which is research. We have recently launched a few offerings that can help research organizations improve time to science, which can lead to faster scientific discoveries, and that's what we also want to support. There is Service Workbench on AWS, a web portal for researchers. So the web-based user interface, researchers can quickly and securely stand up research environments and then conduct experiments with peers, also across different organizations. We also have Amazon Lightsail for Research, which enables researchers to run preferred research applications or pre-installed and configured from a web browser. The user doesn't really need to understand cloud here and how to deploy it. They can really give it a go. And very recently, we are quite proud on that one, is we have announced Amazon Omics. That's another purpose-built service to store, query, and analyze genomic and biological data at scale. It allows you to import and normalize petabytes of data into formats optimized for analysis. Now, all of these tools, and there are many more, have been built with researchers in mind, but they do have a lot of applications in other industries. And I hope for the research, these tools are really going to help researchers to continue to accelerate their discoveries. But, of course, the first thing, won't it be that trivial? You need to really get into this research and be able to go across the organizations is to have access to the internet. And actually, we just experienced yesterday in the hotel how it is when the internet is not available. That is a major panic moment. But what I want to talk about is not really the small stuff, but National Broadband Ireland. And that's our next customer to come on stage and talk about, just to covering and to bridging, how to bridge the digital divide, was tasked with implementing Ireland's National Broadband Plan. They brought broadband access to over 500,000 households and farms and public sector organizations and businesses that didn't have that by the time. That is something, and that is bridging the digital divide, creating equity for citizens through technology. So before our next speaker is going to take stage, let's watch this short video to learn more.
Please welcome to the stage Director of IT for National Broadband Ireland, John Power.
Hi everyone, super excited to be here. That's for you, Isabella. It brings a little tear to my eye every single time I see that video, and I've seen it a lot of times because there's a huge amount of purpose to what we're doing in Ireland in relation to broadband access. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that story here today. So my name is John Power. I've been delivering software into, was there a technical glitch? Here we go. Delivering software into telecoms companies globally for the last 25 years. So let's start with the EU's vision. The EU's vision is for a gigabit society. Gigabit access for everyone in Europe. Currently, there are the haves and the have-nots. There is an urban and rural divide. The vision for a European gigabit society is to bridge that divide. There is phenomenal opportunity out there, and it shouldn't be dictated by where you live, whether it's rural or whether it's urban. In Ireland, National Broadband Ireland is closing that gap. National Broadband Ireland is combining world-class fibre infrastructure with world-class cloud infrastructure, AWS. We're also pioneering open access wholesale model, essentially treating broadband as a utility. So what is National Broadband Ireland? National Broadband Ireland was set up to deliver the National Broadband Plan. A little history. Way back in 2017, the Irish government launches the National Broadband Plan bid process. In late 2019, the Irish government signed contracts with an international telecoms investment company called Granahan McCourt, GMC. I was part of that group, and then I transferred into NBI as IT director. It is the largest public-private partnership in European telecoms history. It received 2.6 billion in public support. This was approved by European Commission state aid rules. It is the biggest investment in rural Ireland since electrification 100 years ago. Ireland is one of the most rural economies in all of Europe. The National Broadband Plan is widely recognised as the boldest, most ambitious telecoms build in the world. We're connecting over 1.1 million people, serving 600,000 homes, schools, businesses, spanning 96% of the country. It's enough fibre to go around the planet 3.5 times. deploying as well over about 1.5 million poles. With this ambitious plan, we'll see Ireland move from the bottom of the EU league tables to the top of the EU league tables. This is a blueprint for other nations to follow. Just a little bit about the bid itself. The bid had looked at a minimum of 30 megs download for every single household in rural Ireland. We actually decided to jump that quite considerably by putting in XGS-PON, which was a future vision-based fiber technologies. We launched with a 500 meg product. So people in farms around Ireland now can get better internet access than I can. So in Dublin. So 500 megs, 900 meds, 1 gig is what they're actually going to get. And again, I find this incredibly motivating that you have script kiddies that were maybe educated in urban areas that have come from rural areas will now be able to go home to their own farmhouses where they were from and actually start coding and doing startups from their own houses without having to work in the big areas. So the approach. Ireland, like every other country, has been dominated by an incumbent network that has been saddled by legacy networks and technology. Large proportions of Ireland was seen as economically unviable. Companies wouldn't deliver it because they couldn't make any money out of it. This is not unique to Ireland. I'm seeing this all over Europe at the moment. And there is a shift with broadband that it is being treated now like a utility. And this is the model Ireland has adopted for this. It encourages competition in the market and end customers benefit from it. If you look at the pricing for that 500 meg product, it's 27 euros. The approach. NBI was a greenfield implementation. No legacy platforms, therefore we could utilize IT best practice from the outset. NBI's platform was based on a key number of limited commercial off-the-shelf platforms supported by serverless architecture and managed service capabilities offered by AWS. What did we actually build? We built the ability to capture, to provision an order, to bill an order, and also monitor the network from a performance and from a fault management point of view. From a standing start with 3 people in the bid team, we built that to over 160 people, over 4 countries. In the first 12 months, we built phase 1, which was order management to cash, including provisioning, inventory, and billing specifically, while in parallel, integrating internet service providers to our northbound API. And from 12 to 18 months, we built the performance and fault monitoring platforms of the network. Collaboration. So I'm going to talk a little bit about collaboration and around the key learnings, which I think is really core to this presentation itself. Speed to market was incredibly important to us. We had a set of contractual milestones that we had to reach. So we had 12 months to get the telecoms platform stood up. If we missed that milestone, we got no subsidy payments. Therefore, no revenue. We got there using AWS services and a low-code environment. Secondly, customer journey. Having adopted AWS services and the low-code environment, we were able to focus on creating the best customer end journeys. This resulted in a net promotional score of 91%, unheard of in telecoms industry. Automation. We automated as much as possible to remove manual interventions where possible, providing faultless API high transaction volumes. In-life ease of use. Modification of those customer journeys themselves in this managed service environment is substantially easier than trying to do it in a high-code environment. So some of the key learnings. You can't know everything. In NBI's case, we had a very tight timeline. We partnered with PFH Technology Group to deliver to those contractual milestones. Multi-governance environment, or multi-vendor governance. This is important, and this is why I'm struggling to get those words out. NBI had a multi-vendor environment. Spend time strategizing around automation of your environmental release management and test from day one. I can't stress that enough. Don't be afraid to experiment or prototype. We had a requirement for 24/7 processing of very, very large geospatial files. We experimented with Amazon's Z1D instance and lowered processing times by over 80%, again pulling in those contractual milestones and allowing us to hit them. AWS skill sets, train up or buy in. NBI partnered with PFH at the early stages, and now we've transitioned those specific skill sets in-house. Cost control, very important. Assign costs and threshold spend responsibility to the departments consuming the services. This will drive optimization and value for money. Thank you, but if I was to leave you with just one point, new broadband technology is unleashing opportunities previously unavailable to rural communities. And equally, AWS is liberating telecoms industry from legacy practices and outdated operating models. Thank you very much. I'm here also for questions at a later stage.
Thanks, John. I love the key takeaway for me is that you have taken the opportunity to be greenfield, but then take the latest technology and also to experiment. I think that is key. I can tell you, I've seen that in a couple of industries working with those also in a quite different way. So that is great to see that latest technology made an impact in that country. Now, I would like also to leave you with a couple of takeaways from that morning from our keynote here. And firstly, it is that we are committed to improve and to work on our sustainability performance and on social impact continuously, and that we are here with all our experience, what we are experimenting, what we are innovating to support you and to support your journey. Secondly, data beats innovation. Sorry, no, never again. So data never is going to beat innovation, but data is going to beat intuition. And that is just getting that out in the wrong way. And with our comprehensive set of data services and the different skills and the needs that you have, we are here to support you wherever you are and to start innovating at each and every point. Again, to integrate intuition and to build for more innovation. Thirdly, that using tools available in the cloud, such as AI, ML, is a key differentiator for your organizations. And I hope that you have taken away from the examples that we shared here today, but we, of course, have much more to bring more innovation and impact into the societies. And lastly, that we as AWS are innovating on the infrastructure and tools relentlessly and continuously, so you can innovate and experiment, as for example also John shared, for your communities to deliver the best results here. I know we shared a lot this morning, so you may have questions, where to start, where to go next. There is a lot of places that you can look around. So I also recommend that you stop by the Ask an Expert booth and get some discussions and questions and answers loaded there and get those answers back. I hope that our innovation is going to inspire and is going to fuel yours. And I'm curious to see what we are together and what you are going to be innovating. Thank you very much and enjoy the day.